What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Arc Raiders has seriously been getting a lot of, in at least my personal opinion, unnecessary hate. Seriously, I've been seeing so many players out there saying that this game, it's all this hype about the Arc robots being very powerful and strong, but it doesn't matter because players are still bloodthirsty and all they want to do is kill, 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 kill. They shoot on sight every single time. Nobody ever wants to chat, team up, help each other finish goals while in the middle of a match hopping in solo. And that alone is ruining the experience. But for me personally, it's the complete opposite. I can go 10 plus games in a row, multiple times, without having to shoot my gun at a single person. So, I don't know, I wanted to go ahead, showcase to you guys some footage, kind of discuss my tips and techniques on how about going through this, and just to kind of showcase to you all that Arc Raiders is one of the most casual experiences out there. And if you just, act properly within the solo environment, easy peasy. You don't have to worry about any of this. And I think people are underestimating how many players out there don't actually want to shoot on sight. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we go ahead and dive on deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting at around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are interested, I'm going to link those channels down in the description of this video. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, before we actually dive on deep into, my experiences and showcasing that this game is indeed very casual friendly, I just wanted to showcase a post I read over on Reddit because it does summarize up the randomness of extraction shooters. I saw this by a Meal Team 6 over on Reddit, and they said, I tried. I really tried. Solo, I stalked a player for about a couple hundred meters, watched what he did, how he moved, how he reacted to arc and distant gunfire, studied my opponent. I followed him into a building, waited for him to loot, and had him dead to rights. He hops on the mic and starts talking to me. I ask him if he wants to fight. I can see he is outgeared and outgunned. He says no. I say okay and run up to him unarmed. We loot the room together. We are ready to leave the room and a hornet comes out of nowhere. I shoot it once and reload. Shoot again and miss. I look at my new friend wondering why he isn't helping. I see a red light and try to get out of the way, but get tased. Then I'm met with a hail of gunfire from my new friend and get knocked. I ask him why he killed me. He stays silent, pulls out his hammer and begins working me. I tried to play friendly. I tried to help a new player. I tried to team up and get a cool story to share on Reddit. Maybe spark a culture of sportsmanship. But no, I'll never trust a raider again. It's dog eat dog out there, and now this dog is hungry. Now, I'm not saying this person is claiming that this game has no casual identity, and he's claiming that basically no players want to help out. I just thought it was a really funny and engaging story. But this is what an extraction shooter is all about, ladies and gentlemen. So although if you go into solo and you try to make friends with people and you try to talk and interact, this is what gives you that adrenaline rush. This is what, adds to the stories that could be made out of Arc Raiders. If there was no PvP at all and every single person that you, talk to didn't want to do, any type of PvP and backstab you or anything, it'll become stale. It'll become repetitive. You know exactly what you're getting yourself into. But because of situations like this, you don't. You never have a clue what is going to happen, what people are going to do. And sometimes you just got to put your faith into a random, and other times got to be a bit cautious, And again, as I stated, that is what makes it so fun. So although I'm going to be preaching a lot about how a lot of solo players, are more friendly than you expect, keep in mind, it's not always guaranteed. There's always going to be people out there who might try to take advantage of you just through some kindness. But again, it's not real life, so who cares, right? It's a game. And it's really fun to witness. But ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to go ahead and showcase this footage to you guys in particular. I have tons of footage, but I won't be able to cram it all in this video. And of course, you guys can go to my streams over on Twitch, which, like I said in the beginning of this video, I have a link to that down in the description of this video, where you can see the full gameplays. And I'm friendly to almost basically everybody when I'm playing solo. And it's awesome. Like I said, I can go like 10 plus games in a row and extract every single time because I'm making friends with almost everybody in the game. And then we extract together, increasing our odds. But it's through communication. And in this footage, you'll see, I'm right smack dab in the middle of 3 different players. First and foremost, I'm helping this other guy out with a drone, but I'm constantly calling out. I'm not just shooting at the drone. I'm not using emotes, and that's another thing. Don't use emotes. turn the mic on, please. I don't know if it's something, that something goes on in players' heads when they hear someone just emote. Maybe they think you're just an NPC or something like that, so they take him out. Or maybe they think you don't have any emotion. Maybe it's more emotionless. But when you actually talk on the mic and show some real emotion, making it seem like you truly are human, I feel like that gives you much better odds than using one of, the emotes that say, hello, don't shoot, I'm friendly. I feel like people are definitely going to gun you down regardless. But if you're sitting there saying, hey, man, please don't shoot, I'm helping you out, and you can see at the bottom left, next to my name, every time I talk, it's going to be a yellow microphone that pops up. And you can see how frequently I'm, trying to discuss with these guys. And keep in mind, nobody is talking. Not a single soul in this whole engagement of like 3 other players is talking to one another. I'm the only one shouting out. But I'm making sure I'm heard, and I'm talking to everybody. And somehow, some way, I de-escalate a situation between 3 engagements. A sniper sitting on top of the hill, whom I had to run closer to because I don't think he could hear me from this range. So I had to close the gap, and I was getting kind of salty. I was like, please, knock it off. Leave us alone. And I'm not lying to you guys when I said that. He stopped shooting. Who would have ever imagined? And then the other 2, you'll see me run over to them as well. And I'm, talking to them. I'm saying, can we please stop fighting? Do we have to fight? So on and so forth. And I'm begging, I'm saying, please don't shoot me. I'm just trying to do a challenge. I don't want to die. I just want to get this stuff and go. You'll see me looting up a bot in the middle of the open while, there's literally 3 people who could easily look at me and say, okay, you know what? That guy is completely distracted. Let's just, all look at him and shoot him. But all it took was a little communication. And I believe not a single person went down in this area. They would have. They would have. If I wasn't up in there screaming at everybody, telling them to calm down, the sniper would have beamed the guy down low, or the guy down low would have won his engagement. Regardless, 2 people were going to die there, okay? 2 people were going to die and lose all of their loot. But one person coming in and speaking up was able to get everybody to calm down and keep everything that they have. Of course, if they extracted later, I don't know what their, end results were. They might have went back to beefing when I let, who knows? But I didn't hear any gunshots, and there was also a leaper in the area, so I guarantee everybody kind of just scattered because nobody wants to die to that thing. Nobody's going to win an engagement out there while a leaper is sitting there hopping around, destroying us all. And also, talking about the leaper, did you see the other sequence of the leaper chasing us up to the other location? And again, none of the people that I'm around right now are friendly. I don't even know who they are. And notice how I play. Although I'm trying to be friendly with others, I'm still watching my back. I'm still staying cautious. I don't want to get, messed up. And if I do get messed up, I have an escape route ready at all times. But I'm still talking to him. And I'm trying to be friendly. The leaper's coming in. I'm screaming at him, get inside, get inside. Where there's another person already inside. So I'm having to scream, don't shoot, I'm friendly. But I'm speaking. I'm using emotion. I'm talking. And, interactions will take you a long freaking way in the world of Arc Raiders. This game doesn't boil down just to like a PvP style of game like Escape from Tarkov or Arena Breakout. No, the E portion of PvPvE is emphasized a lot more in this game compared to others. And that alone will make you want to not just always kill one another. And also with how the loot is dispersed in this game, sometimes killing other people isn't even going to, give you that much. It might be a waste of your time to even waste resources on taking them down. But ladies and gentlemen, let me be quiet really quick because this was one of my favorite segments of this overall match here. It was absolutely hilarious. Hello, my friend. Hey, guys. Do we got a beef? Do we have to fight here, guys? Oh, no. Brother, do we have to fight? I don't really want to fight you. You can go across and do your thing if you want. I'll just leave. I don't know, man. I think he just wants you, dude. I think he just wants to take your ass out. I'm sorry, man. R.I.P., dude. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't even tell you how much I was cracking up from this moment right here, right now. I was dying. And again, this is a completely separate engagement. There's so many moment-to-moment things that happen within Arc Raiders that just makes it so refreshing. I went from having to calm down 3 different individuals to not kill each other, to then finding a random person hiding from the leaper along with me and the other guy trying to charge up to take cover. Then I leave those 2 to go about my business. I don't know if the other guys stayed together when I left, or maybe they started shooting at each other because I was out of the equation and it's not 3 people now, so they're at a disadvantage. Who knows what the case is, but again, that's the fun of extraction. extraction shooters. And then I move along my merry way to try to finish my challenge because I got to take down snitches in this video. And sadly, I fail. By the end of the video, you'll see it gets pretty bad. But, I'm on a mission. I'm a man on a mission, so I'm just continuing on my journey. And then I find another 2 players that are getting into an engagement. I try to calm it down. It's already too late, man. They've already been at it seems, for a little bit here. And he gets down, and while I'm sitting there trying to de-escalate this man so he doesn't shoot me too, this is a guy who's already down and saying and screaming at me, "Shoot him, man! He's going to blast ya!" Thinking he's going to, betray me too. And lo and behold, I de-escalate the situation. I say, "Hey, man, go across. We don't got to beef. Go get your loot from this poor guy and leave me be. You can have your stuff, and then I can go about my business." And lo and behold, it worked. We were literally face to face. He could have popped at me any moment he wanted to, and he was ready. He was aiming at me. I could have popped at him any moment. But again, just a little chatting goes a long way. A little emotion goes a long way. And you see what I'm saying here? You have to learn how to approach people while talking as well. You can't just, charge up in the middle of the open and talk to them, expecting them to be friendly. I'm sitting here behind cover talking. I don't want to engage. I want to, de-escalate. But I don't know what this man's intentions are. So you got to feel out the situations. Is it going to work all the time? No. Just like the Reddit post I showed you guys in, the beginning of this video, where that guy goes half the raid just to get shot in the back of the head. It happens, but that's the fun of extraction shooters. That is the random factor. Human nature, human tendencies. It's almost like, in the real world, if we, had the apocalypse freaking happen and everybody's, fading away and we're dying away as a species, extraction shooters do a really good job at showing how people would actually act in these scenarios. Now, not completely, because it's a game, right? And games aren't going to give you those real emotions compared to actually being put in that situation, right? A lot of people act like they would be amazing going to war, but then they go to war and then they're in a completely different boat and they're traumatized. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because they've been playing Call of Duty, they think they can do whatever those other guys do, right? You need to understand the differences between games and reality. But like I said, extraction shooters still tap into that mentality. Some people are a bit more greedy than others. Some don't care. They want more for themselves and they can care less about others. Others don't need to fight. They just want to find what they can get, what can help them, survive and move along with their day. And you see a lot of these within these extraction shooters. It's hilarious, fun, and very freaking engaging. And as I stated, these moments happen all the time, ladies and gentlemen. I beg you, turn on your mic and try to interact. That is how you're going to be able to survive a lot of the time in solo. Now, in squads, you might not be as lucky. I feel like the majority of the time, if people hop into squads, they're ready to frag out. It's usually, shoot on sight. It just is what it is. The only time you can really get squads to work together is if they're trying to take down a big boy, like the, Queen, for example. Then you could probably get squads to work together. But, solos is where you find the fun interactions. PvP, more so with big squads. Solos, not many people go in there PvPing. A lot of my engagements, when I'm like making noise now, people run away. I've learned that I don't have to really be quiet in solos. Because 9 times out of 10, people are scared of noise. I'll start sitting here breaching a freaking, cabinet, tearing that sucker open. And instead of, people wanting to come engage, they're running away. I'm hearing footsteps leave. People genuinely are a lot more relaxed in solo than people expect. And I think that people also have tensions and, people can read those tensions and that will give you a lack of trust. But if you genuinely go in there and try to make friends and try to be nice and try to, lay low, I guarantee that you'll get a completely different result, as you could see throughout this whole gameplay experience. What you saw in my first footage, we might be on to the second footage now. I'm not sure. I'm rambling on a bit here. But regardless, in the first footage, man, oh man, that is like my game-to-game experience in solos. It happens all the time. And the amount of combat that I have de-escalated and, prevented people from killing each other just by talking, I can't even count on both my hands. It happens so much. But again, as I stated, it's fun to me. And if you just take a little time to try to learn, I think that you guys will be able to obtain that skill as well. And you'll be able to find those fun engagements within the Arc Raiders universe. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post twice here, once at 8 a.m. and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, if you guys are interested, got to link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.